It's working?
Yes,
Okay,
it
it's a
seems to be
green light
working
then.
now.
Okay, you can start.
All right, so I think I can begin by saying good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well today. Uh, I mean, as we know, there is a coronavirus pandemic going on outside, but I hope that we can make time for today. I know that everybody's extremely tired. It's been a long week, probably. It's a Saturday afternoon, and there's not much else to do. But here we are online. But I can assure you that this is not going to be any online Zoom class. We're not having any boring seminars. Right here today, we are having our very own, as we'll say it, epic info session. I'd like to begin by introducing myself in that case. My name is Vincentius Gabriel Tandra. I am the MC for today's event. I am a member of Binus International's very own DSC core team. And well, first of all, I think we can ask, what is DSC? And I'd like to start by saying that DSC, or Developer Student Clubs, is a community where you guys can enrich yourselves in Google technologies and experience more about all things Google. So in my experience with DSC, I joined the DSC core team this year in pursuit of learning more, possibly developing with all of Google's technologies. And so here we are today. And speaking of the DSC core team, I'd like to go ahead and thank everybody. This goes out to, of course, our DSC lead, Jason, and all of the members of the DSC core team. I think you all have prepared extremely well for today. I think all of you have fulfilled your roles extremely well. I think most of us are satisfied. So I'd like everyone to sit back and be proud because the event's going to run itself now. And I think I can go ahead and thank our media partners over at paper.id and Kotakodo as well. I think they've done extremely well in sharing and promoting the event to an audience that uh, we could never have possibly reached without them. I hope that in the future we can host all sorts of different kind of events, possibly live seminars, technology demos as a platform. We could have coding events, and who knows, the future holds so much. I just hope that we have a lot more to do. I think that this strong bond will hopefully lead into more and more successful events in the future. And with that said, I think we can get to business. So, why is everybody here? I think all of us are here for one thing and one thing only, and that is DSC. So, what is DSC? What's our vision? What's our mission? What do we have for the future? What technologies are we going to show off? Well, that's not my job for me to speak. So I think I can go ahead and introduce Binus International's very own DSC lead, Jason Christian Hailianto. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to me. You'll be seeing my face as the MC for quite a bit now. I'd like to give the stage to Jason. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me, Vincent?
Yes, I can, Jason. You can go ahead now.
Okay, thank you for your kind words, Vincent. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Christian. I'm the current DSC lead for Binus International for 2020 and 2021, and I will proudly say, welcome to our first info session of the year. Now, today, I will be talking about our general summary of who we are and tell our mission, vision, and future for 1 year. So, without further ado, let's talk about DSC. So, these might be the questions that might be burning in you guys' head. And those questions might be, who are we? And why are we here? Now, let's try to answer these questions in the next slide. Now, when I was making this presentation, I was thinking about how to answer this seemingly simple question. And I think again, and I think that it's not so simple to answer these questions. And I decided to, as most people would do, I would search it in Google about DSC. And specifically clicked the images section of Google. And by doing that, I found some of interesting pictures that are on the screen right now. And all of these pictures have a story of their own. They have background. And so let's take a look at some of these pictures and let me tell you some background on them. So if you guys look at all of these pictures, I want you guys to think about a word, something that might come up to mind when looking at all of these pictures. Now, you guys don't have to put it in the chat box or anything. I want you guys to just think about it and we'll discuss about it later. So let's take a look at the first one. Uh, this top center one. So this is DSC Talk Series Live Indonesia. This is an event, talk show where all many DSC elites from Indonesia in 2019 gathered together to make some kind of a talk show about technology in a podcast-like situation. So you can see Hanky here. Hanky is our DSC elite for last year. So that's DSC Talk series. It has a lot of episodes and you can search it on YouTube. Looking at the left one, this is the DSC Leaders Summit in 2018. It's attended in Bali, and there is many speakers from all over the world come, like Erica, our DSC leader for DSC manager for worldwide, and we have more speakers from all over the world gathering in Bali. And unfortunately, this year we don't have this because Corona, and we only did uh, Google meeting. So there's a lot of stories behind these pictures, right? As you can see here, DSC is worldwide, and we have clubs all over the world. We'll discuss about it later, and there's a lot of story behind it. Let's take a look at this picture again. Now, this picture in the bottom right seems kind of complex. It's like a talk show like setting, and they're wearing fancy suits, and the stage look cool and all. And let me tell you guys about this story of this picture story. So this is actually our annual event that DSC all over the world is will be attending every year. That is called Solution Challenge. So Solution Challenge will be held in January, February, and it's an event where we as a DSC will help to develop a solution to a problem in our community. So let me show you guys what these guys made for their solution challenge. So I don't think you can hear the voice, but let me give you a background on this clip. So this clip, they are creating technology like a glasses, and the glasses there is an LED panel where will display text and convert speech to text so that impaired people can see what other people are saying based on Google Speech API. And this, of course, will help them significantly by, uh, by understanding other people who doesn't know about sign language. So this is one of the submissions, actually one of the winners for Solution Challenge worldwide. There will be 10 winners chosen and more more about it later. We'll discuss it in more depth in the later slides. So let me get to the previous question about what is the one thing that appears when I see these pictures. This is my answer. So my answer is DSC is a community of like-minded people who are interested in technology, interested in learning new things, and interested in helping others. I think that's DSC for me. Other DSC elites would have different answers, but I think that is my answer. So let's get into the next slide. So If you guys don't know already, this is the map of the world. It's not flat, but it's flattened so that you guys can see. And this green thing right here, it's Indonesia. And there are 47 DSCs in Indonesia from all over campuses. In Southeast Asia, plus Pakistan, there is 130 plus DSC. I don't know the exact number, but it's around there. And worldwide, we have 1,200 plus. Again, I don't know the exact number, but it's around there. And this explains that we have a lot of people all across the world and a lot of people to collaborate with for our future events. So you might be thinking again, why should I join DSC? Well, here is my pitch on why you guys should join DSC. Well, sir, first of all, you get to meet amazing people. In DSC, we'll invite many speakers from all across backgrounds, industry speakers, uh, people with a lot of experience in one topic, uh, people who is working in a big company, other DSC elites, and maybe even peers who are just interested in talking about technology and sharing them. You guys get to meet these people, you get to ask them, and you might even make connections with them. So let me show you a quote that I really like about this pitch that I'm making. And that quote is from Isaac Newton from 1675, and it is stated in one of his literature works. It said, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Now, what does this mean? You might ask. Well, I'll explain my meaning to it later. But this is a very scholarly quote. This is often used in like university and campus-like settings, and I think I really like it. Uh, it's because, well, let me tell you the meaning behind it. For me, so standing on the shoulders of giants. The giants here, I think, refers to our idols, our mentors, our teachers, even our parents, and everyone that we learn from. We gain experience and we gain their knowledge, right? So when we are still small, if we are standing on the ground, uh, we can't see much. But when we stand on the shoulder of those giants, those people who have experienced a lot of things, we can see a lot more things than if we're just standing on the ground. And by learning all of this, we can form our own knowledge and make it our own, and someday maybe become the giants. And this is the analog, okay? The real life example is, how are we always evolving in technology? That's because the finding of other people who have passed us, right? Like, I wouldn't be streaming with my laptop and my phone here if it's not the findings of like Turing and Ada Lovelace and even Tesla, if it's not for his electromagnetic works on how Wi-Fi works. Then we're standing on their shoulders, on their knowledge, and we have improved upon them. Yeah. So that's why we'll meet awesome people and then we can learn from them. And last, connect with others. Might be less lonely because, like, for example, mega corporations such as Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, what they begin as a group of friends with similar interests joining together to make awesome things. So that's my pitch number one. Pitch number two, learn and explore. Sure, you might be learning a lot in college. I get that you're studying a lot. Well, you're studying a lot of things such as C++, Java, C, Python, SQL, and I do you really think it's enough for the future? I mean, it's the basic of fund it's the basic foundations and all the things that you need for the future, right? But do you think it's enough? Technology keeps evolving every time, every year. Processor transistor count keeps doubling every 2 years, and the need for more data to be crunched is will be increasing also. And that's why I think it's important for us to learn technology from outside college because, frankly, there's a lot of technology. Like, for example, in Google, we have AI, TensorFlow, Flutter, and all of those things that are not taught in college. We have to explore and learn by ourselves. And so let's elaborate on that more. So we're going to take a look at some data because we haven't yet. So this is the 2020 Emerging Jobs Report in US by LinkedIn. Let me show you the graph. And let me zoom on the top five of them. So the top five emerging jobs in US is AI, robotics engineer, data scientist, full stack engineer, site reliability engineer. All five of them relies heavily on computing and technology and programming. Well, beyond the top five, of course, there are more technology heavy reliant jobs that are you can just see. And the graph, I have searched everything, and I have searched that in this list 67% of the job is relying heavily on technology, while 33% is not. This 33% includes but not limited to customer success specialists, behavioral health technician, and so on. You can read it later. And all of them, all of the jobs in this list have one thing in common. And that one thing is all of them works with data. Now you might be asking, hey Jason, this is the US. No, Indonesia different. Oh, yeah, you're right. But it might be not as different as you think. Let's see the next slide. So this is the 2020 Emerging Jobs Report in Indonesia, again by LinkedIn. And as you can see from the top three here, we have cybersecurity specialist, DevOps engineer, and customer success specialist. Two of them are computing heavy jobs. And you can see the rest of it. There's more developers kind of jobs. And the graph now is 60 to 40%. Again, not so different from the previous one. And again, all of them works with data. That's just show uh, how needed are we in the industry, our we as computer science people and information systems people. Now, speaking of data, let's take a look at some infographics. So this is a day in data infographic by Raconteur. So every number here that you see represents a type of data being created, sent, uh, and yeah, you know the idea. And let's zoom on one of them. So let's take a look at this 4PB. 4PB, what is this? 4 petabytes of data created by Facebook every day, including photos, 350 millions of them, and 100 million hours of video watch time per day. 4 petabytes. That's a lot per day also. Let's take a look at some more data. 463 exabytes of data will be created every day by 2025. Now, you might be confused at visualizing this data. You can refer to this data units here. You have bits, bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes. So petabytes is one above terabyte, and exabyte is one above petabytes. Now, to visualize this amount of data more, let's take a look at an example. So this is Linus Tech Tips, cool guy, YouTuber, 12 million subscribers, cool guy, technology. And I think in February, he created a server that can contain 3 petabytes of data. And the hard drives needed for that server is this amount. That's a mountain right there. There's a lot. And one of those hard drives is 16 terabytes. That's crazy. My laptop barely has 1 terabytes. This guy has 16 terabytes in one hard drive. So that's just show how many data Facebook is creating every day. And this is 3 petabytes. Facebook is creating 4 per day. So this just shows how much data needs processing every day and how the technology is needed in the future when data is exponentially increasing. And this is again another chart. 300 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Again, crazy amount of data that is hard to visualize. And after 20 minutes of just Google search, I found a lot of jobs for for us, for computer scientists, for information system, for anyone that is interested in computing jobs in general. And this is definitely not all, but after 20 minutes of research, I still found this amount of jobs. And that's a lot. And I think it's almost safe to say that there's always something for everyone. For example, you're learning C++, you're learning C, you're learning low level programming, you're hardcore programming, you don't like it. Oh, pointer, what is this? I'm confused. Well, just explore. There's a lot of jobs that are not heavily reliant on C++ and low level programming. For example, web development, UI researcher, UX researcher, digital marketing. Oh, you like design and like programming also? Well, front end I think is the job for you. You like small things, you like smartwatches, you like smart cameras, Xiaomi down there. Well, we have embedded system for you. And why does this work? Well, I think it's because the rise of technology makes a lot of jobs that are not available in the past available now. For example, we have jobs like digital marketing now, online shopper, and then we have uh, social media in- manager and social media in general. And that job is not available or still niches 20 years ago. It's available now because the rise of technology. And we are so dependent of technology now that, let's be honest here, who here spends less than 1 hour in the internet every day? Yeah, I certainly rise beyond that threshold. And as a college student, it might seem confusing of what job to pick in the future. And that's why I think it's important to explore. And explore we shall do here in DSC. We are going to introduce you to many topics and new technologies. And last page, SATs, SATs, SAT, student activity transcript, the lifeblood essence of Venetians. You get them for free. If you're not registered for this event today, what are you doing? If you're Venetian, sign up now. You get free SAT. Do it now. We'll handle the rest. The absence, yeah, something. So yeah, let's talk about DSC events more. What we'll do in them. Of course, for starters, we'll do workshops, seminars, talk shows, competitions, code jams, and all of those things will invite people from external and internal. We'll do more things, and then we can bring up topics that you guys want, and there will be regular events that we will hold for you and gain SAP from. And every journey starts with a single step. Of course, we get that everyone has a different level of understanding of the topic, and when we discuss about the topic, not everyone will understand from the beginning. That's why when we start a new topic, we will start from the beginning. Just like we will demo Flutter, and you guys will see what is capable of, what is the syntax, and do you think it's good for you and you're interested. We do stuff like that. And if you guys are interested and there are many interests, we'll do more of it. It's that simple. If you're interested in AI, you're interested in machine learning, vote for it. We'll do it. It's that simple. We'll do more of it. We'll do a workshop series on it. And we'll cover it until we get into an intermediate level. And let's go back to the previous event that I talked about, the DSC annual event, Solution Be Sunday. Now, this event I think will be held in maybe one February or January, and we will have an open registration for the event so that you may join and create awesome things with us for our community. And let's see one of the submissions. I think one of the winners too for Solution Challenge last year. Let's see the video. I don't think there's a voice, but you guys can see the subtitles. Sorry.
Membuat aplikasi Airflow.
Karena itu bersifat kayak misalnya bakal ada banjir dari pemerintah bakal langsung tidak berdasarkan sebelum display berdasarkan data kami itu berdasarkan dari WhatsApp. Ini setelah itu penduduk bisa ke posko terdekatnya dari lokasi poskonya. Terus kita bisa kayak ngeset arahnya berkiri mau ke depan. Ya. Karena kita memanfaatkan teknologi arah gitu dari itu. Oke, bisa selesai?
Oke, selesai. Kemudian kita mencoba ke sana, kita menunjukkan ke warga Bojonegoro. Sekarang kalau ada aplikasi ini kan bisa langsung masuk ke HP-nya masing-masing. Jadi semua warga langsung otomatis langsung tahu.
Ini kita milih.
Yeah, so you guys get the idea. We make solutions to help a problem in our community, in our society, and every society have a different problem. So we'll search for the problems in our society, and we try to help them with the technology that we have and the apps that we can make, and we will help them. And the event will be held, yeah, in January or February, and there will be a registration open, you guys. Don't worry. We will tell you later. So, closing statement. Look forward for the next year. We'll do many events, and all of your feedbacks are really, really appreciated for next year. What we'll do and what we will have. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to my rambling, and I would like to thank you for the core team. So this is all the core teams that is in DSC Binus International, and this QR code here is the link to our events page in DSC website. And again, I would like to thank them dearly. They have been working very hard for this event to make it possible, and thank you for listening. And thank you. Take it away, Vincent.
All right. Thank you, Jason. That was quite the interesting data actually. But I think we can go ahead and introduce our next speaker. For the next part, we are going to have the former Binus International DSC lead, Henki Sanjaya. So if you would please, Henki, you may speak now. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks, Vincent. I don't know if you can hear my voice. Can you give thumbs up if, okay, cool. Let me just quickly share my screen. Give me a second. All right, can everybody see my screen? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Before I start, just would like to welcome everybody again, and so happy to see all of you are here. And my name is Hengki Sanjaya. I'm the DSC with Binus International last year, and I'm also the student in Binus International. And I'm just gonna talk about our experience, our journey last year, and also why community, especially the DSC, is so important, and why what community in my perspective is. And before I jump to the next one, can everybody please go to the chat box and type from which school or university you are from, so I can see like, okay, wait a second. Binus Inter, okay, cool. So majority from you are from Binus Inter, and also I see in the registration form some of you also coming from outside Jakarta, and also some of you are still in the vocational high school. If you are here, feel free, and we are welcome to all of you also. Just speak to the core team and the new with the Jason if you have a specific topic that you wanna learn about. You can just speak to them, and they will be very happy to help you out. And also, let's jump to our topic, the first topic, which is our journey last year. So just quick summary of what we have done last year. In total, we have more than 20 events, and it is the total of internal events and also the collaboration events with the other DSC in from other universities. And something like today's, we have our info session, we have 11 workshops, 5 study games, and 3 speaker sessions. If you can see in this picture, we also invited some of the Googlers here, and also the Google developer advocate to speak also last year, to give a bit of context and how to get career, how to get a job in Google as well. So the first one, I'm just gonna talk about all the events that we have organized last year, and then the first one is this one, the speaker session. These two, you can see here, right here, if you can see my cursor. This one is the Google Developer Expert for the cloud, and this one is, if I'm not mistaken, is the Site Reliability Engineer in PayFast. So in this event, we talk about cloud. So yeah, this one, I think this one after the class, so it's around 5 p.m. and it ends, and I think 8 to 9 p.m. So yeah, until the satpam ask we to go out. And then the second one is this one. So this one we talk about Flutter, which is you're gonna be learning also after this in today's session. We invited also the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer from one of the e-sport gaming platform in Indonesia. And yeah, we play a lot of fun here. We play Kahoot to make the learning fun, and we also make some quiz. Here you can see some people get Flutter t-shirt. So we also try hands-on workshop where the participants, which is you, are going to be the member as well in the DSC. So we try our best to give the best experience for you all, so you can try directly the new technology. And learn from the expert from the industry. And the third one is we invited two speakers from the first one, this one. He is from Pepper ID. So he is the product, I forgot his role, but I think the product associate or product manager. So here we learn about UI UX, starting from the brainstorming and then generate idea and then validate the UI and UX to the users. And also the second speaker is the country lead in Indonesia for the one of the community as well. And we learn about technology development process from him. And yeah, that one is the speaker session. And the second one is workshop. These are the type of events that we organize the most. And we learn so many topics, which is the Google Cloud platform. And we also learn how to build a simple chat application with WebSocket and also the Node.js. We learn Terraform, infrastructure as a code, and PWA, Angular, and last but not least, also Android. These are just a snapshots of what we were doing last year. So these are the result. And also, yeah, this one is workshop, and we also invited the external speaker to give us the real knowledge and the skill from the industry. And the next one is study jam. I think Jason has already mentioned and explained all the activities that you are guys going to do. So one of them is also a study jam. Study jam is a activities or that designed by Google to learn more about the latest technology, and by using their platform, which is Google Cloud Platform, and also the Quick Labs, which is the online learning platform that designed by Google also. And we also learn machine learning, language processing, image processing, and also all those sort of things that the latest technology is provided by Google. Yeah, these are just the snapshot. And the next one is why DSC or community is so important. And why DSC? Why not other communities? If you go to the Developer Student Club's homepage, you will see the goals and also the definition of DSC itself. And you can see here, I highlight in red box here. So our goal as DSC is to help students, you guys, to bridge the gap between the theory and practice. So as you can see before in our activities, we try to invite the speakers, the experts from the industry to get to know the real experience, what is actually needed in the industry. So we just want to help you as a student and equip not only what you have learned in the school or university, but we also want to make sure you get the experience of what is actually needed in the industry. So when you graduate from your school or your university, you just already prepared from all your experience from this community. And I think I will just end my presentation by telling you a story of myself, why community has really been an important stuff for me. So when I was in vocational high school, to be honest, I don't know where I should go, like which field I should go. Like, should I go to accounting major or the IT or even the business? And at the time, I joined a community in my high school, and it is similar to the developer student clubs where we learn about the latest technologies. And at that time, I was introduced by several technologies by the expert in our school, and starting from that time, it just opens my mind that okay, I should go to this field. And for some reason, at that time I don't really know the reason well why I should go to this one, but for some reason I just love this. I just love doing this, and I just keep doing this, and I come to this point right now. So community has really changed my life, like changed my the direction of my life, and also you get to know many awesome people, like Jason has mentioned also in some of the pictures. We can meet so many people in several universities in Indonesia, even some people from outside Indonesia. We can also meet the Googers. So I think this is the base, you can say it as platform to learn as well as to meet so many awesome people. I think that's it from me. Thank you so much. My name is Hengki Sanjaya. Back to you, Vincent and Jason. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Henki, for all you've had to say. A little bit from me. I was not able to join a lot of the events from DSC last year, but I hope that Henki's speech was able to paint a picture of what DSC could look like in the future. Because I mean, I know that the situation is pretty harsh right now, but hopefully we can relive a similar experience. I think a lot of people can benefit from joining DSC. And so we can go ahead, and I would like to introduce the head of computer science faculty here at Binus International, Sir Raymond Bahana. You may go ahead now. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, okay. You can listen it. It's dark. It's okay. Okay. I want to thank everybody. First, I want to thank Henki. Because of him, this DSC started. So last year, yeah, it's already 1 year. So it's better if start from the student, the initiative. So in the past we have others connection with other big company. You know lah. Start with M. But we drive the student to join. Yeah, in 3 cycles still okay, but after that, it's getting difficult. So I think it's better is initiative is from the student. So like you all can see now, the second cycles generated automatically by the student, not by us as a program. Also, Vincent contact me, and I need to say something about the thing that I use. Of course, I will show you some slide. Wait. Okay. Wait. Okay, can you see it? Oh, wait. Share. So the whole I will share. So you can see this one. My slide. Guys, I cannot see. I cannot hear.
Your screen is showing, sir.
I'm sorry.
It's working.
It's working.
It's working. Okay, sorry. Yeah. This for you is already happened, when you start using computers. But in my time, no. I already use. Luckily, my father's like technology a lot. So in 80s, I already use computers. 81, I guess. Yeah. So, and also the internet. I think in 1990 you already use internet, although you still using modem. So what happened in that time? So how I can find the website? There's no search engine yet in that time. So if any, it's not really search engine. So it's just website that lists another website. So you can find that website is from Computer Magazine or something like that. So yeah, in the past, this is the first Google, the first Google that become globally popular. Yeah. Before that, it's like this. So after the web, yeah, it's like Yahoo started, like in the left, it's like directory only. So you need to click if I want to go about in that time maybe C. Yeah, I need to click a computers and go to somewhere like a tree, right? Go submenu, menu, submenu, submenu until you get the website that you want to go. The problem is the website that lists in this directory, Yahoo will find it, try to find it, or as a web developer, you need to send it to them. Okay. And yeah, after that, Google also create like in the right side. The right side is a open directory project. I also become one of the editors in that time, but only for Indonesian and then also only for sport. Why? Because I have several websites about sport Indonesia that I want to put it. Rather than I'm waiting the editor to approve, why not? I'm the editor, right? So yeah, if you look at the time, it's 2000, it's already 2013. Yes, it still exists, but in the past, I used this maybe in 2000, I guess, yeah, 2000. I think 1999, 2002. So Google directory, yeah, similar like this. You can search, but again, the website need to be applied. So you cannot just right now like Google, they just crawl every page in any server, right? If the developers allow, okay, they can prevent if they want. So it's like this. So in that time, you cannot find very specific website sometimes if the owner of the website doesn't send, and they get it's difficult to get approved. Yeah. So like I sent, I think three website to the Yahoo. Once maybe a week already approved. Once like a month. Once is never approved. So yeah, it's difficult. Okay. So I just show some of it lah. Of course, right now, yeah, Gmail. You know about Gmail. Although I'm still using Yahoo, but Gmail is much more easier. Connect with any other Google product. Okay, calendar also important. Google Drive, so it's easier now. Okay, Google Map, of course you use it, right? Google Drive, yeah, who know? For us as a lecturer, Google Scholar is then important. Okay, here if you want to find some, I think for the student also, yeah, later on when you want to create a thesis, so you want to find a research papers, yeah, a book, even books also. You can go to this website, and also every lecturers that have a paper also need to list their papers over here, and this generate automatically. Yeah, so I don't need to input manually, although I can, but Google will track any conference, any journal, yeah, and it will show it if they can match the researcher. So it's very nice for me. So rather than I input it manually, yeah, using Google Scholar, yeah, just Google just get all my papers and put it in one place. So anytime I want to show it, it's easier. Yeah. So you can see also how many citations, something like that. Google Translate, how many students still use this? Okay. Even I'm still using. Sometimes it's not English to Indonesian to English, yeah. Most of the time English to Indonesia sometimes, because sometimes in computer science, particularly some of the word is not easy to translate in Indonesia, right? So yeah, I'm trying to find it using Google Translate. Although yeah, after that I need to revise. Yeah, maybe it's not that 100% correct. That's helpful. YouTube also lah. You know, Google Chrome, of course, although it's getting heavy. Google Image, you can drag and drop an image, you can find similar image, right? So if you want to find this is hoax or not the image, yeah, just drag and drop here. You can find similar image that maybe is not altered yet. Yeah, Google Doc, of course lah. Android, right? So even my phone, yeah, using Android. In the now is Google News also, yeah, because they gather many sources in one place. It's easier for me to read rather than go to one web news at a time. How many of you still read news? Still important, yeah, reading news. Okay, so it's many things. So the thing that I want to say, Google create this in early 2000, late 90s, early 2000, when the Web 2.0 terminology started. So what is Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is a user involved in the application. So user, yeah, it's like Google search is success because it's so many web page, right? If no web page, yeah, nobody use. Even yeah, Google Image, same. YouTube also success because so many people put the video in that place, right? So they need content, the content from the users. So yeah, early 2000 until now, Web 2.0 is getting familiar. So many company now create application. Yeah, that need help from the users to fill in. Yeah, like Google Scholar, same. Like yeah, what else? Like Google Map also, you can give a point in the several maps so the other person know, right? So Google is important. The good thing, many of the Google product is open source. Okay, many API that you can use it. So you don't need to work in Google, but you can do something with Google, right? So you can use many things that Google provide to create something that really helpful for anybody. Okay, especially the time like this. Okay, people really see that the application that can connect everybody is very important right now. So become computer science student, if yeah, maybe also design or anything else that work to develop something is very important right now. Okay, so yeah, for all students, this is your chance. Yeah, you have a place to study, to learn, not only in the class but also in this DSC. Yeah, under a big company Google that love to share many things. Okay, so use this, take advantage of it. Yeah, we as a program, yeah, also wants to help you back up this DSC.
Okay.
So if you have any, we can discuss later on, Jason or Vincent. Yeah, we can discuss if you have any others event that are big. We can work together as a program with the DSC. Okay, okay, guys. I think my time is up. Thank you so much to invited me. I hope I will see you again next year with a new cycle, yeah, with new students. So this still happening lah. Okay, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Sir Bahana, for the speech. I think that was quite intriguing, especially seeing from a perspective of somebody who used the internet in an earlier time. I think a lot of people might not have known exactly what that looked like back then. So I'm glad that that perspective could be shown today, and especially how Google technology is still relevant in this time and how it can be used as an opportunity for the future. With that, I think we can move on to our live demo presented by one of our core team members here, Rafael Tanjaya. You may go ahead and start speaking.
Okay, hello guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I've shared my screen here. So welcome to the app showcase. My name is Rafael Tanja. I'm the DSC core team member. So in this part of the event, we'll be creating a simple Q&A application based on Flutter Web and Firebase. But before we get into the demo, let's talk a bit about Flutter. So we are now in the, okay, sorry, I have problem with the screen. Okay. I need to reshare the screen. Okay, sorry for the problem. So firstly, let's talk a bit about Flutter. So what is Flutter? Flutter is a Google UI toolkit for building beautiful and native compiled application for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. But what does this mean? Okay, it means that by using Flutter, you are able to create application for mobile, for web, and even for desktop by using a single code base. So you need to only write it once and then you can use it everywhere. And then what's the reason for us to migrate to Firebase, for example? We have three main reasons. The first is fast development. We have what we call hot reload and hot restart. So imagine sometimes when we are creating applications like in other languages, maybe Python, C++, or Java, when we are having a changes, maybe sometimes the changes are a very small changes. We need to recompile and then rerun the whole application. That's not a very good experience for us as a developer. But with Flutter, we can actually change a part of our code and then we can just toggle the hot restart or the hot reload, and then the Flutter internal system will just refresh the app in like 1 second or maybe less than 1 second. And then the second thing is we have expressive and flexible UI. So what's special about Flutter is even though we are not using web technologies, for example, if some of you are from web background, you may know about React, maybe React Native or something like that. Flutter is an alternative to that, but it's not using a web-based UI. We are using a native renderer, but we are using a Skia base, which means that we can define a UI which can run in every platform. We are not bridging the user interface of something like that. And the last but most important part is the native performance. So if we are using Flutter, we are actually gaining the whole performance from your device. It's not like when you're using React Native, you're using JavaScript to write your application, even though it's very easy and maybe it's very familiar for you who have like web development background. But technically, using Flutter, you gain more performance rather than you say JavaScript. Okay, so we'll be having a demo soon. But first, disclaimer, the demo should actually be a live demo, but due to the connection circumstances, we are not able to do it live. So first, this is a demo, not a tutorial. So if you guys are expecting we can cover the whole thing, this is not what it's like. So we are just going to cover a bit like how Flutter works, and then how easy is it to use Flutter to build application. So let's start the demo. Today, we are going to create a Q&A application with Flutter and Firebase. For today's project, I have created some boilerplate code for us to work with. Flutter's main app structure resides inside the lib folder. There's chat module, chat page, and then main.dart. But we are only going to work with these three files. Generated plugin is a file that is generated by Flutter, so there is no need to work with it. Let's check main.dart. Here, we initialize a new Firebase application. Next to it, we have a scaffold, which is the wrapper for the whole application. It contains an app bar and all these views of the application. Inside of the app bar, we have the DSC Q&A text, which is also reflected in the application. Next, we also do a little sign-in to make sure that we know who sent the message. Here, as we are using Firebase, it's very easy to implement the sign-in function. Last but not least, the app will return a chat page, which we'll be working on later. Next, we'll be working on the chat module. This is the class that defines how a message should act and should look like. If we go to the chat module.dart, we can see that there's already some to-do on top of the file. So now we can start to create the class. We can type class chat module. So inside the chat module, we have two properties, which is string message, and we also have the other one is string UID or user ID. Next, we'll need to create a constructor. In Dart, this is a special syntax that we can use in order to initialize the data by using this.message and then this.uid. By using this syntax, the constructor will automatically initialize the message and UID variable inside of this class. In Dart, this is a better approach rather than assigning each data to each variable inside the class. For now, we have finished with the chat module. Let's go to the chat page. I have not made any changes to the main.dart, so I will not be saving it. Here we also have a few to-dos for us to work with. In Flutter, the build method is where every UI is structured. Here we are inputting an empty container, so if we see at the right side, it's also an empty container. Now we are going to build the UI. First, let's replace the container with a column. So a column is like a container, but it can contain a multiple children. So let's create the children. We'll be having the first children as expanded, and the second one is a container. Expanded is a special widget that will occupy all of the available space. So the children of expanded here is a container. For the container, we are also going to set the width to be infinity so that it can take up all the available spaces. Next, we are going to set up some color and border radius by using the decoration property. For container, we are going to use box decoration. Then we are going to add a color, which is the gray with certain shade that is lighter. In this case, we are going to use gray.shade 200 to make sure that the gray is not too dark. Next, we can apply the border radius, but we need to make sure that the border radius is only applied on the bottom left and right side of the container. Here we can assign the bottom left side of the container with a rounded radius of 30. And so is the bottom right side of the container. As you can see, Flutter has prepared everything, so you just need to design it. So this part of the code will cover the area of the app with gray color and allow the container to have rounded border in the lower parts. Next, we are going to add a text field inside the other container under expanded. So child parameter, then fill it with text field. We're also going to add some padding here, so there will be some spaces around the text field. We'll fill each insets into padding parameter, and we'll fill the value with 16. There are some attributes in the text field, so false for autocorrect, true for autofocus, message focus for the focus node, which we'll be creating later. Then we can add the controller, which is MSG controller. We also, controller. We also can add onSubmitted, which is a function that we'll be creating later. And finally, we can add the decoration, which is an input decoration. Inside the input decoration, then we'll also be having a border, which is outline input border. Outline is input border will define that the border should be a rounded border, and then we can put inside the border radius, which is border radius dot circular, and on this part we're also going to input 30 as the value. Here we are going to add a hint text, which is when is the event, next event, and then we can do label text, which is message, and then we also can add helper text, which is press enter to send. Here we still have these three which we haven't implemented yet. As we know about the structure, we are going to have an upper part for the chat area, while the lower part is for the text field input. Now we are going to implement message focus, message controller, and add message. First, we are going to create the add message method, which returns void and receives a string called text. We'll be printing the data. Then we'll initialize a second variable called messages, which is a list of chat model, which is currently empty. Then we are going to create a message controller and a focus node, which is for the message controller, it is the type of text editing controller. Text editing controller. Okay, while for the message focus, it will be with type of focus node. We'll be taking a look at this later. So now, so far is so good. We can start running the code. And now the app has been successfully refreshed. We can see the expanded area and also the text field. We can now start to create the backend of the app, which can be done in a few steps inside the add message method. First of all, the text needs to be checked. If it is empty, then the app will terminate. Otherwise, the message controller will be emptied so that the text field will be clear as well. Next, we'll retrieve the UID of the current user by calling firebase of.instance.currentUser.uid. Next, we'll be preparing the data that will be inserted into the Firebase backend. Here, the type is map of string to dynamic. We call it data. Then inside the data, we'll be having three attributes, which is message, which will be the text, and then we'll be having UID, which is the current user UID. And also, lastly, we have the timestamp, which is called publish. So we get the time now, which is datetime.now, and then we want to convert it to an integer with milliseconds since epoch. Okay, then finally we can use the Firebase Firestore, and then we get the instance, we get the collection chat, and then we use the function add to add the data to the server. And we also need to request focus from the focus node so that the text fields are still in focus. The key publisher is the data that we are going to compare to see if a message comes first. So we need to convert it into an integer with milliseconds since epoch. And then in order to let the user to input multiple messages continuously, we need to call request focus so that they don't need to click on the text field after they send a message. So it will be easier for the user of the user experience side. So next we'll be moving to the server side to get the messages. First, let's delete the to do. Then we'll be going to the init state. So in init state, we are going to get all the messages by using Firebase Firestore.instance, and then we'll be getting the collection, which is chat, and then we'll be ordering the data by using order by, and then we want to order by the publish, and then with descending false. And then we are also going to limit the data to get the first 100 data. Then we'll be going to snapshots to get the streams, and then we'll be listening to the changes. So after we have the changes, we'll first clear the messages so that we don't have double data. And then we are going to use and loops the data from each event. And then for each element that we are going to loop for, we are going to add the data into the messages list. So we can do messages.add, and then we create a new chat model. This is where the chat model that we have created on the first time, this is where we are going to use it. And then we can access the data by using element.data, and then we access the message key. And then for the other one, we can do element.data, and then for this one, we access the UID key. Okay. Then we should not forget to set state so that the app can refresh whenever we have new data coming to the application. Okay, we can see that the app is currently reloading, and we have the new view of the app. Yeah, it's still the same UI because we doesn't change the build method, but we only change the backend side. Now let's work to display the chat in the gray part of the application. Now we can add some child into the container, which is a list view. We'll use the list view builder, and firstly we'll create the item count. So the item count is just the length of the message array, and then next we can do the item builder. It will accept index and the context, and for this time we'll just return a container. Then inside the container, we'll set a margin so that we have some spacing. We'll create insets.all, or maybe we can do hinsets.symmetric, and then we'll put horizontal 16, and then for vertical is 4, so that we have more horizontal spacing than vertical spacing. Then let's do the alignment. We want messages that is sent by other people to be located on the left side, while the messages that we send to be located on the right side. So we can do an if statement if the messages UID is equal to the Firebase user .uid, which means this is the user. We are the user that sends that message. The message will be aligned to the right side, while if we are using other account to send message, it'll be aligned to the left side. Okay, so next we'll be adding Bubble, which is by using a special library, FL Bubble. It implements WeUI, which is a UI library by Weixin or WeChat. Then we need to add some parameters to the FL Bubble. We'll add the from, which is it is the bubble ending. If it's on the left side or on the right side, we'll also use the same logic as The other one, if the UID is same with the current UID, we'll just put the bubble from to the right. Okay, to the right. While if we are not the user who is sending the text or the message, we'll be putting the bubble from to the left. Lastly, we need to set the child of the FL bubble to a text where we can put the messages there. Okay, then as simple as that, now we are going to run and test the application out. Okay, so the app has restarted and we can see all the previous messages. Let's type hello world and see what happened. Okay, hello world, and then we have our message on the right side. However, nothing will be sent if the text field is empty. So that's the overall code. So let's do a quick recap. So every UI or so-called widgets are put inside the build methods. And then here we are going to return a column which contains one or more items. Here we are using expanded for the upper area so that it can fill all the available spaces. Next, we have a container inside expanded to set the color of the area, and then we need to set the border radius there. So you have the decoration of the container. Then we have the list view inside the container, which is a scrollable version of the column. It can have many items inside, but it is scrollable. And we can see the expressions here are used to determine the alignment or the position of the message based on the user. If the user is the current user, then it will be on the right side. Here, the container marks the lower part of the app with the text field and all of its properties. So when unsubmitted or the user presses the enter button, the add message method will be called. The add message method code is located at the top of this class. It checks if the message is empty and return, and then it clears the message. It gets the UID, create the data, send the data, and then lastly it requests for the focus. And then init state is the first method that is called when the app is starting. So the code here makes sure that the data is retrieved before the app has displayed anything to the user. First, the collection name chat will be retrieved from the server and will be ordered from the newest to the oldest message. We can then limit number of messages to prevent heavy memory usage. Then we can take the snapshot and listen to the changes in the stream of snapshot. Then we clear the existing local data, input the new data and set state so that the UI is refreshed and showing new messages. Now we are done with everything and we can close the preview. Now we can move to the terminal and enter Flutter build web. The Flutter build web is used to build HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a package form that will be deployed to Firebase hosting or other hosting. Now we have done building and we can create a new Firebase project by using Firebase init. And since for this example we are only going to use hosting, we can choose hosting using the spacebar and then we can press enter. It will set up a project for us. We can select no for the SPA as Flutter doesn't have the support yet. And then we can choose no for override. Then we just need to do the deployment by using Firebase deploy. And then we can press enter and wait for the process to finish. Okay, now the deployment is done. Let's confirm it on the website by going to Chrome and then we go to dsc-qna.web.app. Everything is online and working fine as it is before. Right after this, we'll be having a Q&A session. So go to dsc-qna.web.app and start typing your question there. Okay guys, so that's the demo. So if you guys are interested in Flutter or you guys want to learn more about how to develop your application in maybe 1 or 2 hours, you can follow our upcoming events, or you can also vote to do more of this kind of events. We'll explain from the ground up, of course, not like this kind of quick demo. Okay, next we'll be having a Q&A. So you guys can head to dsc-qna.web.app. So if you guys also, if interested with the source code, you can go to GitHub youtube.com/rafatan/DSC Q&A. So back to you, Vincent.
All right, so I think we can begin the Q&A session. For those who are currently watching on YouTube, the link will be sent soon. Because I think at the moment they might not be able to click it. I think, Jason, you can share your screen so we can begin.
Hello, share my screen
Yeah.
to show the questions here.
Yeah.
Or-
So we can start answering them here.
Okay, sharing my screen. Where is it? Screen number 2 allow. So it should be visible now. Wait, why is it empty? Let me see. Okay, can you see the website, Vincent?
Oh yeah, I can see it for now.
Okay, so if you guys want to ask a question, there is a format, yeah. Vincent, can you please tell us the format?
Oh yeah, so we've got a format for the questions here. I think I can drop it in chat so we can filter out the questions you guys are going to be asking. And you can use bracket ask DSC with the question just after that.
Okay, so if you guys want to ask anything, you can type something like this in 3 platforms. You can ask in Google Meets, you can ask in YouTube Live, or you can ask them in the website that Rafael made.
Okay, so we have our first question right there, Jason. You can read that out, I think.
Okay, the first question in DSC Q&A website. When is the registration for the normal members of DSC? Actually, we will have the link for registration right after this seminar. Yeah, so expect that soon.
Well, you are welcome to ask questions wherever, guys, on the app, on Google Meets as well.
Oh, will we receive any social hours in this club? That's a good question. For solution challenge that will be happening in January and February, we will contribute to our community, right? So that's we can claim social hours by doing that. All you have to do is to register later when the event is finally there, and I think if you do the solution challenge, it will automatically 30 hours because we're doing a lot. Because we will be interviewing them, we will be discussing about the solution, we will be developing the actual app, we will be deploying it, and yeah, there will be a lot of work. But I think that 30 social hours will just pop up after that event. Thank you for the question. Nice one.
Keep the questions coming, guys.
How about from the YouTube? Do you see any questions, Vincent?
At the moment, at least on my side, I don't see any questions coming in yet. So again, for whoever is watching on the YouTube live stream at the moment, we are checking the chat over there. So
Oh
for
my
those who
gosh,
are watching from the
there's a
live
lot
stream,
of questions there.
yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Is there a limit number of student for this club? No. Just register and you're in. And then you'll get our events from our newsletter and social media groups. What kind of activities will we do as first year students? You know, as I was saying in my part of the seminar, we will be learning new topics from the beginning. For example, we did Flutter demo, and if you guys are interested, you can vote for it in the feedback form. Of later, we will give you a feedback form, and then you can fill what our event might be. Of course, we will start from the beginning. That's why, for freshmen and first year students, I think you will be able to follow it quite well. How long will that even last? I think from past experiences, the solution challenge will last for approximately 1 to 2 months, and that's why we need to prepare beforehand and prepare what issue we have to tackle so that we are ready for the event. Regarding competitions, how is it different from Jollibee? Well, I think Jollibee is. I don't really know about the competitions in Jollibee, to be honest, but in DSC we'll be having our own twist and making competitions with maybe with our company partners, and then we can make, for example, web applications, and then, well, I think I'm saying too much. You guys will see later. But yeah, we'll be adding our own twist, and I think that's enough to warrant it to be different than Jollibee. How to get marked for attending the seminar? Oh, it will be automatically done by our team, and you just have to be present at the seminar.
Yeah, just
Thank
to
you.
say for that, if you've registered using the Google Forms in our advertisements or promotional material, at least if you're a Binusian, assuming that you're asking to get marked for SATs, as long as you've registered there and your Binusian ID is noted down, we'll make sure you guys get your SATs.
Yeah. So, and any Venusians that is not registered yet, register.
Yeah, please make sure you register. You don't want to miss out, especially if you're already here and yeah, you know, you've gone through the whole thing, but you don't get your reward. I think you should go ahead and register.
Do that.
So we got next one.
Uh, Will the event for January or February will be international or national? Well, every DSC worldwide will have the same event, and they'll make their own version of a solution for their community, and we got the same problem too. We have to make a problem for our community. So I think in the scale of making the app, we have to make it national or just local, but in competing with other DSCs, that is international. So we just have to know our skills and limits and just develop the app that is suitable for the problem. Thank you.
All right, do we have anyone maybe still typing questions? I'm sure that we don't have that much time allocated left for this segment. So if you've
We
got
got
any,
around
okay, there we
5
go. We've
minutes
got
more.
another one. We've
Oh.
got another question right there, actually.
How many people are allowed in the group for the challenge? That's a good question. And I don't know the exact number of people needed for the solution challenge, yeah, but what I can say is the core team will be involved. And then of course, we need some more manpower, and then that manpower we shall get from DSC normal members. And that's why it's important for you guys to join, and then later the registration will be open, and then we'll decide how many people we need later on. But yeah, my point is we need more people from DSC members and not just the core teams. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot to change the background when I'm speaking. No, it's DSC house.
Oh,
Will there be different topics for? Yeah, for topics that we'll talk about, like talk shows and workshops, every DSC will have different topics. For example, if we discuss IoT, that doesn't necessarily mean that DSC Universitas Indonesia will talk about the IoT. It's completely independent of us, and yeah, cool house. Thank you. For the solution challenge, will all teams face the same? No. You guys have to search for the problem, and then you try to solve it. Every team will have a different problem depending on what the team members think is the heaviest problem or the most problematic problem that they see. So yeah, you can be very creative in that department on what to do. And I don't think from Binus International we can only have one team. I don't think we are limited to only one team. We can have two teams or how many you want. You just have to develop the application and submit your application to Google developers. Thank you.
so I think for the meanwhile we can try to close out this Q&A session because we're going to be sending out the registration and feedback forms for those of you in the YouTube and Google Meets at the moment. We'll have that sent.
The cable's gone. Wow. Cool.
Can somebody help out and send those in the chat, please?
Kenapa, Vincent?
No. So we're sending out the registration forms.
Oh yeah,
that, right?
true.
Yeah. So if one of the core team members could they send it in the chat, please?
Yowen, can you also help putting that in the YouTube live stream? Thank you.
That would be the membership application, right? There's also the feedback for this event.
So in the after event, if you guys don't get the link, you can directly contact anyone in the DSC core team and ask for the forms. You can even DM us on Instagram at DSC Binus Intan.
Okay, so we have both forms at the moment. So wait, Jason, as per info session tradition, are we doing this photo session or what?
Absolutely. Let me turn off my screen share then.
Right then.
So this is optional. This is completely optional, but can you guys turn on your cameras so that we can take a photograph and just document it?
So in the usual offline info sessions, usually we'd have a photo session, but as we know, it's online, so it might not be the best representation of what our event looks like. But I hope you all can, yeah, go ahead and turn on your cameras.
Can someone from the core team take a picture? Thank you. My hands are quite full at the moment, so yeah.
My hands are full looking at the camera.
I cannot seem to get this glass out of my hand. So yeah. Thank you, core teams.
Well, I mean, is that it so far? Has the picture been taken?
I think. Do you think it's enough, Vincent?
What do you mean? I mean, oh, come
Well,
on, like we can.
on my screen, only 6 people see. I can view.
Yeah, on my
and-
on the YouTube live stream, it's a better depiction of what
Oh,
it's
okay,
supposed to look like. I
That's
think
nice.
it's messing up on my part as well.
Okay, cool. So everything will be recorded, I guess, and it will be live in our YouTube channel, DSC Binus International. Thank you. Yeah, because we are done with the photo event, I think we can close it, Vincent.
Yeah. All right. So I'd like to give my parting words. It's been quite the long afternoon. I mean, I hope everybody was interested in what we had to offer. This is just, as you could say, a preview of what is to come for the future. I hope that, as I've said before, despite the situation, DSC has a great year. I hope you'll all enjoy the presence of the core team, of each other. Hopefully, you'll join the solution challenge and so on. Although I'm not sure the speakers are here anymore, I mean, I guess besides Jason, I'd like to give a large thank you to the speakers today. You've done a great job preparing, and I think that's been shown off here. I think that's it from me. If you've got anything to say, Jason, you can go ahead.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. So, event time's a bit overdue. It seems we were scheduling for 3:30, but lots of technical difficulties with online. I hope you all had a great time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone, for attending DSC Info Session 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.